guys, I'm super excited this week for this episode of The Pursuit of Everything. My friend Mackie Unruh is here. He is a police officer here in Billings, Montana. CrossFit enthusiast, CrossFit Games athlete. I'm super excited to chat with you today because I've done a bunch of CrossFit and I've ran from a bunch of cops.
Not quite the games level.
Right. You saw me run. It wasn't much of a chase. So kind of just give me a little backstory. Where you're from, what got you into fitness and the career path that you're in.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Salem, Oregon, which is the capital of Oregon. I played sports my whole life. I was lucky enough to get picked up at a community college where I played a couple of years there and got into an all-star game there where MSUB's coach saw me play. And
What sport?
Baseball.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, baseball. So I got picked up for a scholarship to go play out here, and which is what brought me to Billings. And then from there, graduated with an exercise physiology degree. Met my wife, Courtney, and who played soccer there, and fell in love with Billings and the community and just the lifestyle out here, and decided to stay. And that's what kind of brought me to this area.
And now you serve the area.
And now I serve the area.
Which is fantastic. So let's talk about your fitness journey first. I know, we met through our wives, but I followed you being in CrossFit and stuff like that, and you were big into that. What being an athlete, I'm sure, drove you that direction. What kind of drove that passion?
Yeah, actually, if I go back to my JUCO days in Oregon, I mean, I was always into fitness. To be honest, in high school, girls like fit guys, so I worked out. But I had a teammate of mine show up to practice one day and he could barely walk. And I was like, hey, man, like, what did you just do? Like, what workout did you do? And he's like, I did this thing called CrossFit. What is this? It sounds stupid. And he's like, no, man, you would love it. You're super competitive. Like, you should try it out. And randomly one day I went to take a TV that we had at our college house to get fixed. And across the street was a CrossFit gym. And I was like, wow, that was weird. And so I watched him while the TV was getting worked on. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in there. So I went in there and did it and puked like everybody else does and was super sore and fell in love with it like right then and there.
The
suffering, yeah. And was like, this is how I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
And so I never looked back from there. I kind of fell in love with it and geared it towards my degree and knew that I wanted to be a personal trainer. And so I got a whole bunch of certifications through CrossFit, became a personal trainer at a local gym here in town, and eventually branched off, opened up the gym. And then from there, I know this is a whole bunch, but became the strength coach at MSUB for a few years. And then I was the director of the AMP program through Granite Health and Fitness
for a while
too as well.
That's super cool. Tell us a little bit about your journey to the CrossFit Games, because there's a super compelling to me. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, for people that don't know, CrossFit every year has a yearly event called the Open. So the Open is open to you, it's to Cozy, it's to Courtney, it's to me, and you do. Back in the day, it was 5 workouts, 1 a week for 5 weeks, and you would film yourself, have a judge you. And you would send in a video to headquarters saying that this is what I got on my score. Well, if you scored high enough on the leaderboard over the 5 weeks, they would rank you in, back then, my first year, it was top 60 in the Northwest. So the Northwest region was Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Washington. And if you were in the top 60 out of that category, you went to what's called regionals. And then regionals was held at like Portland, Seattle, Kent, bigger places like that. And from there, if you placed in the top 5, from there you go to the games. And so over the years, it changed a little bit. It dropped down to 20 athletes out of the region, and then it actually included the west half of Canada, which I'm super lucky and privileged to have made it 5 different times.
Were you kind of shocked when you were watching the online leaderboard? Like, hey, I'm fitter than most of these people doing it. Like,
yeah.
Were you kind of shocked watching your name stay up there?
Yeah, I was super shocked. There was a couple different workouts where I scored in the top 10 over the years, and to see some of my idols when I was like first starting CrossFit, that I was hanging with a couple of these guys on certain workouts was like, do I belong here? Like, just a guy in Billings, Montana, like working out, and just love it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to see that. It was a journey. It was tough. The training was rigorous. I mean, then we were just getting married. I actually proposed to her at one of the regionals.
Oh, cool.
We actually did that. So I'll tell you about that later, but it's pretty fun. And, but it took away from family time for sure. I was working out couple times a day, multiple hours a day, multiple sessions. And, was definitely like the priority of my life at that time was that.
Yeah.
To get to that point. So
I love that. And what's funny is we did Murph with you guys this year, the Memorial Day, and a bunch of your, police officer buddies were there, and we all take off running, and they have vests on. I don't. I bring my own. It's a test. That's how dedicated I am. I really thought to myself as we're running down the street, like, this is the first time I've ever ran behind them.
He told me after, like, I've never been chasing them before.
Hey guys, I'm back here. So the one thing that, like, my fitness journey has taught me is discipline. And I like that a ton. Growing a business, eating fast food, driving that. But did you always have the discipline of being an athlete like that, or did you kind of learn that the more and more as you kept going?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I feel like I was born with some sort of discipline to an extent, but kind of a backstory on my family and why I enjoy fitness so much is that my family's always struggled with weight loss. I'm the only one in my initial family that doesn't have a weight loss surgery. And so athletics, team sports, and like my fitness journey, I've always had to work harder just because my genes are not great. We're all huge Norwegians. We were all linemen through high school.
Rowing boats on a ship somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've always had to just like work really hard at what I got to do to excel. And I just have that mindset from the get-go that, I want to be a leader. I want to be the guy that everybody looks to. I want to be the example on whatever it is, whether it's my baseball team, whether it's teaching my kids, whatever, or being an officer nowadays.
And what's cool now is you can teach your kids that discipline. You can show them that hard work and that it pays off, and you can do it. You don't have to follow your genetics.
Yeah,
per se. Let's talk about the pivot from personal trainer, working at a gym, owning a gym, to joining the police force.
Yeah, so there's a lot to that. Towards the end of my personal training career, so I was personal training. I was running Granite's AMP program, which is the high school, middle school program for the kids. And then I was also doing MSUB, strength and conditioning. So I had all the teams up there as well. And during that time, I always knew I was passionate about like two things in life, and that was health and fitness and being a first responder. So I come from a family that has a whole bunch of first responders in it. Grandpa was fire chief for 30 years in Aurora, Oregon. A whole bunch of cousins that are in fire, and then an uncle that was sheriff down in Eugene. And so I was like, you know what? Firefighting is probably the route I should go because it will allow me to keep doing CrossFit at a competitive level and have the time to train with their work schedule and personal train on the side, because most fire has a second gig along with their job. And so I was out with Lockwood Fire for I think 4 years as a volunteer, working my way up. And I just found like my cup wasn't full there. Like, fighting fire is fun, but it's so far and few that most of your daily stuff is medical. So you're going to bed assists to lift people up. You're going to, old people out of breath, having heart attacks, things like that. And I just wasn't enjoying it. And I wasn't enjoying learning tying knots for 4 hours. I wasn't enjoying cleaning a clean truck every day,
right?
Because it went on to one call,
right?
And I had to go clean it because it went outside, even though it was clean. And so a buddy of mine who's on the department with me said, hey, I really think you would like policing. You should do a ride along. And so I did a ride along with him, and it was exciting. It was new, and it was just fast paced and kind of more my lifestyle. And I never looked back. I got hired on. And now I've been doing it this is going on 7 years.
That's fantastic. We chatted a little bit before about, the fire department doesn't have a ton of advancement. And that's probably one of the allures to the police department, because you can move up the ranks and now you're in SWAT, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the joining the SWAT team, the challenges, the perks, the cons.
Yeah. I'm super lucky. It was a journey to get on SWAT. And so I had tried out multiple times and
What's the tryout?
Yeah, so a tryout basically incorporates 5 different things, which would be a fitness aspect. So you have to meet a fitness standard, and then you have to meet a shooting standard, and then you interview, and then you have a scenario base. So I guess 4, sorry, not 5. And those are all scoring on how you do on each one. So if you're the fastest shooter and most accurate shooter, you score high. If you are the fastest fitness guy, or do the most pull-ups and dips, which is one of the standards,
You're like, check.
Yeah, the easiest part.
So now I'm trying to think, what to fail at.
Yeah. And then interview, which is very intimidating because you got all the guys you kind of look up to in the department, and it's a panel. So you're just in a room sitting right in front of them, and there's, I think, 7 of them asking you questions, and you're in there for about an hour just getting grilled and judged. So that's not my favorite part. And then the scenarios are basically scenarios of nothing you wouldn't see on patrol, but it'd be like the worst call you ever go to, kind of scenarios that we could potentially deal with. But like I said, I had failed the shoot once, and then came back after that and was ready for it, and was trying out with a whole bunch of friends of mine, and the fitness part came, which I'm not worried about. I got up to go and I tore my Achilles.
Oh no!
Which I would not put on my worst enemy. It was the worst thing I've been through in my
bet.
life. Courtney could probably vouch on that one.
That sounds awful.
It was a long recovery, but just the way my mindset was like, I can't go out like that. That is not how I'm gonna stop. I'm 33 years old. I want this. I've been wanting this my entire time I've been here. Cops become cops half the time because they want to be SWAT. They want to do the cool stuff. They want the cool gear, and they want to be involved in the more higher risk kind of things. And that's just kind of how I've always viewed myself, is like, I want to be a part of that. And to tear my Achilles on the part that I knew I would crush was tough, but I took that and ran with it. And 2 days after my surgery, 3 days after my surgery, I'm in the gym working out, going with what I can do with one leg, and had the mindset of like, I'm going to get it after this. I know I am. And so I was lucky enough the next time that I got it.
I think that shows a lot of successful people. It looks like, everybody sees the view from the mountaintop. They don't see the climb, right? So I think perseverance is a huge area of success. Like, they see me building 60 houses a year. They didn't see the years that I built 5, 8. There's that climb to success, which I find more enjoyable than the actual, you set a goal, you work for it, and then you hit it, and then you just set bigger goals. Yeah. And so being having that perseverance to get through that injury, the shooting, that says a lot to your character. I really appreciate that about you. Walk us through a day in the life of somebody on SWAT. Like, for guys like me who didn't grow up loving police officers.
That's fair.
It's intriguing to me. So just walk me through a day in the life, like what your day looks like.
Right, you're just sitting around chilling, waiting for something to happen.
Right.
Right?
I wish that was the case.
Right.
Hopefully one day the SWAT team can get to that point.
On Billings.
But we are a part-time team, so most of us have our daily jobs. Half the team are detectives. Some of them are command staff. I'm on patrol. I'm a beat cop. I work the afternoon shift, and so basically how it works with SWAT is it's just on call, 24/7, 365. So my daily life is pick a beat, which I usually work the south side. Like, the south side's fun, and take 911 calls until something extreme happens where it reaches the capacity of what a patrol level can handle, and then SWAT gets called out, and then we take the scene from there. Yeah,
that's super cool.
And then we train. Yeah, and then we train a couple times a month.
Okay,
that's what it is.
It's being a police officer, and especially in SWAT, is a super stressful job. No matter what you're doing. How do you, besides exercise? Because I know that's going to be the answer. Well, how do you cope with that emotional stress? That way.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, exercise helps. Every cop needs to find whatever it is, because the job over the 20 years or 20 plus years you serve for a community, you see some of the worst of the worst. Even in just my short time, I've seen plenty of things that still I think about from time to time, and finding outlets that are healthy outlets sometimes could be hard. So for me, it's fitness. For me, it's getting out and being with friends. And I'm lucky enough to have some my best friends be patrol officers as well, and we get together and just kind of decompress from everything. And so having a good community around you, and being open to not hide it and keep it in, just being willing to talk and let the hard stuff be helps a ton.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, even back to the exercise point, for the first part of my career, I dealt with stress by like going to the bar. And, and everything I do is over the top. I'm not the two kind of beer kind of guy. But when I started exercise, I've always exercised. But even Cozy and I were talking about this the other day. She's like, I just came back from the gym and I felt better. It's the dumbest thing. It's the opposite of what you think. You think I should rest and not work out. But then once you go do it, there's like a stress relief that's just crazy. So to me, I think that's probably the biggest stress relief.
100% for me. Like you hit it on the nail. Like for me, getting into the gym, turning off your brain and just doing something really hard that makes you feel really uncomfortable and sweating it out.
And that's what I loved about CrossFit is, the music's loud. You don't think about anything else. You're just trying to survive that workout. Exactly. You're just trying to get through. And that was the best part. So we talk about the pursuit of everything. So that's not just your career. That's not fitness. It's fatherhood and marriage as well. How has life changed since, being married and young children? Your priorities have to shift a little bit. So obviously you're not a games athlete anymore.
No, I'm retired, but there's talks about me maybe going masters.
Oh, I love
back.
it.
So we'll see. We'll see if I can get in the pain cave some more. Yeah, so that's something in our marriage, and as a father, I've had to learn quickly, because if you were to ask people back in 2014 through 18, like, who is Mac? And they would say he's a CrossFitter. Mm-hmm. Like he lives and breathes CrossFit. And our first child was born in 18, and now we have 3. Switching careers, things like that. And so I've had to take a step back from the fitness industry and my like personal goals. And now my goals are family, health and fitness, and our faith. And so it's been a learning curve. I'm still learning every day.
It never stops.
Never stops. Yeah, I understand. So I'm not perfect by any means.
They keep telling us.
But yeah, exactly. They definitely tell us. That is for sure. Tell me for sure. But it's been great because switching from basically like my mindset was the games. My mindset was this for me, and now having the family and knowing that now it's not me, it's my family, and so it's been good. I love my kids, I love my wife, and we are just taking it a day at a time and going from there.
I think what popped in my head right away is like your day-to-day job is going out seeing the worst of, you don't get to see a lot of the business owners and the people that are doing good in the community. You're arresting criminals, stuff like that. But then going home to your children, you're seeing like the best of the world.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That has to be like that the ups and downs of your day is pretty crazy.
Yeah, the adrenaline rushes and throughout the day, and then to come home. So usually they're in bed by the time I get home, just with my work schedule. But to wake up to them, giving me a hug, saying good morning, saying I love you, things like that. It's great.
The other thing that I found, and I know you two did this, was like my wife and I almost every day, and that's kind of our time together. We hang out, that kind of thing. I think that helps a lot too. That you have the same goals, lifestyle goals.
Yeah,
and so keeping that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. It is some of our time. We have a whole garage gym that we've been hitting up lately a lot. And her and I are both super fitness oriented and hope to pass that down to our kids, which has been super fun the last couple of years because like I said earlier, like I had to work really hard to be a good athlete on the baseball team. It wasn't just a natural thing for me. I always had to work hard. And then in the gym, the same thing. And the kids, we never pushed it on them, but the kids find themselves like asking Courtney to write them a workout because they just see us do it. And they just think it's the norm now that, hey, they work hard. So Grace, our daughter, gets out there and says, Mom, write me a workout. We'll write her workout. She gets a workout. And Nash is like, Dad, I want to go hit baseballs because he's obsessed with baseball right now, which is so my dream come true. And I don't have to be like, hey, Nash, let's go play catch, or hey, Nash, you need to hit some balls, or whatever. He's just, he takes the initiative and goes and does it. So I think that's just something they've watched over time with Courtney and I being active into fitness, that they've just learned, like, this is part of life. Like, we got to work.
And you're leading by example, which I thought was awesome. Like when we did Murphy in the Garage, you had neighborhood kids, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They're not just sitting in there playing video games.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was fantastic. A little bit that I love to talk about is leadership. In being a police officer in SWAT, like there has to be like some leadership. You know, do they teach that? Is that something you were kind of? I know growing up in sports, you learn that, right? Like we all do. How big is that in your personal life?
Yeah. So like leadership on the police department, and being on SWAT is stressful.
Yeah.
So there is no schooling on that. They don't just say, hey, this is how you should do this. This is what we're looking for. As soon as you become a SWAT member, you're basically a leader. And you're just picked. And you, if a scene seems pretty unsafe or pretty high risk, per policy, technically we outrank any commander that isn't a SWAT member on a really stressful scene. And so that is stressful in its own. And
You're the guy.
I'm the guy. Yeah. And so there's two of us on my shift that are SWAT guys, and we were actually the two newest guys. And so him and I'm very lucky to have him with me to bounce ideas off of, because we're so new to it. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily like wanting that already to have that much responsibility, but to have another guy to lean on, you feel more comfortable, and you just make decisions.
Absolutely.
And you go.
It's funny, Cozy, on a much lower scale, Cozy and I do that for each other. A lot of the times it's not even, we're not looking for, we know the answer, we just have to talk it through. We just have to like have somebody to have as a sounding board to do that in our business life. So that's super cool. And I think leadership doesn't stop, you know, just with you people you work with or your friends, like your community scene.
Yeah.
You're out there providing the example for the everyday person walking down the street, how you handle those situations.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a trait you're kind of born with. I think natural leaders just naturally can make it.
Awful.
Yeah.
I think athletics has a large part.
Yeah, 100%. Like, very lucky to have an athletic background where I know, like, kind of like setting standards and what it should look like.
It's hard because I came from like an individual sport. I was a wrestler, and
yeah.
Then when you go play football or baseball, then you're like, you know, the shortstop fumbles the ball, and what the hell?
Oh yeah.
You're still like, dude.
I am still like that, dude. So we're just gonna rapid fire a couple questions at the end. My favorite question at the very end: what was your favorite CrossFit workout?
Fran.
Oh.
Still.
I mean, it would hurt way more right now.
Right.
But Fran was one of the first workouts I ever did.
Yeah.
And I love thrusters and I love pull-ups. I love going really fast, really hard.
What was yours?
That's like my thing. Yeah, it's something that's like 40 minutes where you have to like get them comfortable and just kind of stay there instead of like, so God, what was something like that? Like even like a Murph, something like that, where it's just really long. I like those.
And I like those better because like I'll just get through it. Yeah. Like right foot, left foot, just keep going.
Yeah. And I don't want to like red line. I just want to like be kind of uncomfortable and just stay there.
Anything with push-ups.
Yeah. The thing I like about Fran is, right, it's 4-time 21-15-9 thrusters pull-ups. And 4-time workouts are my favorite because it's you against the clock. Like, you're not done until you get the work done, right? AMRAPs or as many reps as possible type workouts.
Yeah.
You're like, go hard for 5 minutes. You're like, okay, I got 10 minutes left. I can coast for a few and then go hard at the end. Whereas like those per time workouts when they're just balls to the wall.
Your lungs are burning.
It is you versus what's in between your head and the clock.
Yeah. Right, but then you're like, just get it over.
Yeah. So those are my favorite workouts. But Fran is definitely will always be my favorite.
Absolutely. So, what's your go-to? Like meal prep food? Cass asked that. Let's go like your favorite cheat meal. Then. I like that.
Cheat meal?
Yes. Coors Light, pizza.
Definitely a banquet beer for sure. I'm a Coors heavy guy, and then I mean just the classic pizza. Yeah. Pizza's hard to beat.
After a
good pizza, pizza and beer, that's really hard to beat.
Best dad moment so far.
Best dad moment. First thing that came to my mind was just watching Nash and his enjoyment of baseball without me like forcing him. Because I mean, before we had a girl first, and I was like, we're gonna have all 3 girls. Or I guarantee it, I'm gonna be a girl dad. And then to see him born was just like the greatest moment. And then I'm like, he's gonna be a baseball player. He's gonna play for Oregon Ducks. He's gonna go play in the MLB. No pressure at all. And when we got him into T-ball and to see like his passion without me like forcing it on him is like the greatest feeling. And
that's a tough question. What's yours?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Probably like coaching wrestling and watching him like try as hard as he possibly can, even if he loses. Like just that all-out moment. That like there's some funny moments because he was always out of shape because he hates working out. Like jumping over a kid to win in the last seconds, that kind of stuff. Cozy was trying to video, but it's all over the place.
I think
I coached everything. Football, wrestling, baseball. Those are like the times that, I didn't have the time to do it, but you just make the time.
Yeah.
Because our dad was a truck driver, wasn't able to come to everything. And so I went to everything. And I miss it, because we don't get to do that anymore. My youngest is a senior. He picked up wrestling 2 years ago. And I'll miss it. It's the funnest part.
Yeah. Wrestling was your proudest moment.
I'll have to show you the video.
I think just like watching your kids do.
That was a much fun.
Yeah, my older son would get up every morning and sit and watch sports. Just those little things. All right, my favorite question. Courtney, you can answer this too. As an athlete, as a competitor in your business, do you hate to lose or do you love to win more? And we've got a tally, men and women, of what they...
That's a good question because I really love winning, but I hate losing. Yeah, I hate losing. It's the worst. I would probably say hate losing more than anything, and that's anything in life. Like between Courtney and I, it's cribbage.
Oh yeah.
Like I absolutely hate it. Yeah, but it is everything. But yeah, workouts, not getting a position on whatever I'm interviewing for work, things like that. Like I hate losing.
Absolutely. And I'm like that with sales. Like and the reason I say that I hate to lose because I think competitors expect to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go into every, like obviously like when I go do work with you guys, I don't expect to win. A win for me there is finishing. But just expecting to win is a winner's mindset. Courtney, I know I've asked you this before, but let's hear it again.
I was thinking about this when we were looking at the podcast, and I was like, I think I said love to win last time, but I don't know. I think I would kind of stick with that, like love to win, because I do feel like losing is just like such a growth area where you're like, oh, it drives you to do better, but I do love it.
You said gross.
That's a good answer.
I said it's gross.
But I think I would totally say Mackie is losing.
Board games and
yes. Even against Nash.
Yeah.
We have this kid Monopoly version, and he beats me every time. And I'm actually trying, and it is annoying.
What's fun now as a dad moment is my older son. We play golf on Sunday, and he's getting dangerously. He plays 4 or 5 times a week. I don't have time to play the ball. He's coming dangerously close to me, but I just will not. I'll die before that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't want it.
The funny thing is, he thinks you're full of shit. He's always like, he's apparently not counting until the very end. Here's my score, and of course he beat me by 1.
That's funny.
He's like, he's making this up.
And I'm the worst runner on the planet, but I'll still beat Cozy in the mile. Just did it a couple weeks ago. I beat her in trout run
After 75.
after 75. Yeah. Sure. I was the athlete that like showed up expecting to win and didn't put it. I was just like good at everything
Yeah.
and didn't put it. If I probably would have put in some hard work, it probably would have been a little more
I feel
fruitful.
like that's what happens 90% of the time. Like the kids who are super naturally good are like
Lazy.
vice versa. You're like, if you could meld the two
Oh,
together.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hating to lose is my go-to in life. So
My
Yeah.
love to win is like a negative love to win though. Like I'll be like, oh, I love winning.
it's like,
Yeah, that's what it is.
well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We're the Pursuit of Everything. You follow me on Instagram, Levi Wanner.